Like, talk, talk, talk. There he is. There he is, coming out of left field. Uh-oh.
Your duo chat. How's that?
We're a sound channel and we have no sound. The irony is not lost on me.
Through here. I'm coming.
Oh, he said, there you
channel.
go. He said, no, Aiden. No, he said, there you go. Like almost immediately after he said, no, Aiden.
Yeah, so you're doubling, though. So, Dan, can you let me know, is Dylan's audio being doubled? Go ahead, Dylan.
Double do. Are we double doing? What are we doing double?
Dylan's See?
this problem again.
No, you know what it is? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you, so desktop audio.
Echo.
Here. Gotta learn.
Echo.
This is all because I went through, I used to go through the Streamer X and I had everything set up. Now I'm back on the Duo because the Streamer X kind of died on me and I forgot to tell Rode about it. So we're going to put you.
It's doubled.
No. Okay. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to put in add audio. Stay with us, folks. Audio input capture. Okay, and I'm going to put this to chat. Chat? Chat. Yeah. 1 second. Test. 1, 2. Go ahead. Fucker. Okay. Audio input. Oh, that's why. So I've got the audio input capture. I've just got to find my chat. Okay, so you're coming through chat, no problem. This is a pain in the arse, isn't it? Yeah, the Streamer X, I'm not exactly sure what happened to it. It just stopped interacting. I got to test it out with my other computer. So, I'm going to go properties.
Hello, ha ha ha. Aiden's probably really annoyed at me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. It's just a matter of figuring it out because OBS has to talk with Discord, which has to talk with the goddamn it. Well, okay, we're here now. So I was Dylan is super low. Try that again, Dylan.
There, Dylan is with no echo either. There we go. Dan said that's what Dan said. So,
yeah. No.
Finally, we got there.
Don't worry, I got your levels decent here. So I was showing you earlier, guys, if you've been watching some of the stream and you notice there's ads and crap like that at the beginning, I was sharing my screen showing the ad options you have. Now, I used to turn all ads off before the stream and after the stream and during the stream. And it was just kind of like all you'd get were the banner ads. But now they've changed it so you can only do like a few ads, or you could do a ton of ads, but you have to do ads. So
cheers, TechMed.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. So yeah, that was kind of one of the changes that YouTube's implementing. And I'm sure it's all like to make more money. I don't really look at this live stream to make money. Like we get sometimes maybe 30 people in the room chatting with us. 30 people watching. Maybe I'll get 300 views on a live stream, which is like pennies. You'll make maybe $5 after a couple weeks. It's not worth having the ads on, so why piss off my viewers? Why piss off the 30 people that are walking in the door to watch the live stream? So I was just turning that stuff off. I'm going to try to dig into a lot of the settings see if I can actually turn that off on live streams, just so I'm not running ads. Because I can turn off monetization, meaning I won't make money on the ads, but YouTube will still run ads. YouTube doesn't give a shit if monetization's on or not. They'll still like run ads on it. They don't care. So, cheers, TechMed. I appreciate that, brother. That's going to go towards some beer. Yeah, so we're talking ugly mics today. This is on the heels of me picking up an ugly Electro Voice ND257. Like one of the ugliest handheld mics I've ever seen in my life, Dylan. Have you ever seen an ND257?
No.
No, it's got the body of like a pencil mic, like the actual the handheld portion is like a pencil mic, and then this big fat head on the top. And apparently I saw Bark reviewed it a couple years ago. They're bright as all hell. I picked it up for $60, so expect that's going to end up in your cupboard, by the way.
Great.
I don't need it.
I'm gonna. What is it? The ND
257.
ND 257.
Yeah, take a look at it. So they've got a newer version of it that has a prop, like it looks like an SM58.
Look at the bulbous on that feller.
Right? But they've got a newer one that has a normal handle like an SM58. But the older ones, the ones released in like the 70s and the 80s, they have like this, it's pencil mic thin. It's
oh man, I've got one of those old, the reporter mics, the ones that like I have one and they're like just literally like a capsule on a wire stuck in a metal tube.
But it's but with a massive head instead of that tiny little reporter head mic. Yeah.
Well, it's still, even the reporter one, I'm like, this is not an attractive mic. But this one is just like that, but way worse.
Yeah, they weren't going for a great aesthetic back then. I don't know what they were going for. 257 looks like a metal clown nose. I will agree with that. A metal clown nose. Dan, I'll rewatch some old live streams with premium account. Maybe it'll help. I wonder if I haven't really dug into the other settings to see. Actually, let me do that right now. I'm going to dig into some of the settings on my old live streams to see what the commercials are like. Content. Let's go live. Let's go back like a month and let's just go monetization. Can't even manage. Okay, so they've got them. So just display ads on. But because you could keep display ads on and then skippable and skippable videos you could just not include. So you would only have display ads. And that seems to be fine in regards to the old videos. So I wonder if it's just the new videos coming out where, like if I look at this here, yeah, see, it's still conservative, balanced, or aggressive. High earning potential will piss off your viewers to an extreme degree. Now, if I was getting like 5,000...
High earning potential.
If I was getting like 5,000 people in on a live stream, I might go a little bit more aggressive because that's your main point of money, right?
That's your bread and butter.
But this is by no means bread and butter, this stream. By no means. Anyways, how's everybody doing on this Friday? We missed last week. TechMed, I know most people will disagree, but I don't like the look of the legendary SM7B. Interesting take.
You know what? I'm not the biggest fan of it either. It's not the most physically like nice looking mic that I ever seen in my life. I don't know. It's kind of blocky. It's got a very professional aesthetic. I'll give it that. But there's nothing like sleek about it. Like I would never describe the SM7B as a sleek mic.
What's the sexiest mic then? So if you've got the ugliest mic in the world, and we'll talk about what that is because there's a new contender this week. But what would you say is the sexiest mic around completely? Like 100%.
Okay. Well, so let's look at this.
Oh, pulling the condom off. All right.
So I mean, there's aesthetically, this insane acoustic labyrinth behind the capsule. Like there's some cool components to this. I like the look of this. I'm not the biggest fan of the sound. It sounds good, but I'm not like in love with it. I like the sound of the SM7B more, but as far as the aesthetics, I gotta give it to the RE27.
Yeah.
It's not the sexiest thing in the world, but again, if I'm comparing those two, it's no contest in my opinion.
TechMed says, I believe he meant the Earthworks ethos. I'd say Earthworks would probably take the cake for being the sexiest mic.
Yeah, earthworms, they're good at
They're
aesthetics, and
those are pretty.
performance, but also aesthetics.
There's not a lot of condensers out there that I would say are like, that's sexy.
I don't know, the Vanguard, man, the V13,
Okay.
that wine red with the little, like, it looks like a
Yeah.
Chrysler logo. Like, oh,
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. It's still a barrel though. Like there's nothing.
yeah.
I think
There's nothing. They've done the best what they could with that kind of style of here's basically a giant vacuum tube.
The lollipop
know.
style I think has some aesthetics to it. That lollipop style head. I think those are
Yeah.
pretty attractive.
Well, that's why I want to get. They have not Earthworks. Vanguard has like these kind of lollipop large diaphragm heads that you can screw into their pencil mics to make like this giant. I'm like, oh, I want that, and they literally call it the lolly.
Yeah, I've got to somehow figure out how to get them on board to sending me product.
Yep.
How do we get?
Oh, actually,
what?
there's another company as far as aesthetics, and I don't know, maybe it's just because me and I love the neon look of Violet. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Violet microphones.
Oh, Violet mics are gorgeous. I have not heard one. I've
never heard one. I know they're big in like the hip hop community. They're used in rap studios a lot, and a lot of rappers have them like as their go-to. Like I think Jay-Z actually has one that is his like personal home studio vocal mic, and I'm like, well, I mean, you know, if it's good enough to record Beyonce, it's probably decent.
If it's good enough to record Beyonce, right?
And quote that. But yeah, like they're. I don't even remember where I heard of them. I think it was through Studs Economic in Montreal, and I was on their site and I saw Violet mics. I'm like, what? And then I'm looking at this site. I'm going, who? What? Like, these are spaceships, not microphones. What is this?
All right, so let's take a look at this then. So I'm saying I like the look of Neumann BCM 705. Yeah, the 705 and the 104, I like that. What did my wife call them? The beehive style. They do kind of look cool. I like those.
They're unique. It's a unique kind of look. You don't see a lot of mics coming out looking like that anymore. I'm sidetracked. I'm looking at mics. All right. Oh, what the hell? You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Huh? It looks like something you hurt people with. I mean, like, yeah. And no, it looks like one part of a shiatsu massager. I don't know, like from a massage chair. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like and they sound like garbage too. Like remember, I think was it you that and we were talking about this video where they were plugging an SM7B in via like a USB to XLR cable or something like that was like the solution, and they're like it works great. I'm like no, that won't work great.
I muted myself when I switched over to the other scene. Sorry guys, because I suck at OBS. So yeah, I should be back now. Automatic. Yeah, I can see myself coming through.
There you go. I can see myself.
I moved over to a different scene on OBS, but I didn't have the audio set up for that because I'm a freaking idiot. I think that Aston's Apex does look like something a woman might buy as a shoulder massager of some sort.
Yeah. Somewhat. Something's soldier.
I'm getting
shoulder.
one. I've actually messaged Aston to see if they'll send me one. I doubt it, especially after this live stream, but we'll see. They've got 3 types, by the way. There's a muted black one. They've got, I think, a purple one, and then they've got that like glass one, they call it. So it should be interesting. Yeah, I know, right? Sorry for muting myself, guys. I'm surprised people still fucking show up for this show. You know what? I'm surprised people are like, yeah, that's a good Friday night. This idiot can't even operate his audio gear. Let's show up for a live stream with this guy. Hitachi, yeah. It's a Hitachi wand. Best part of the week for you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You need a Stream Deck. Even I have one already. I've thought about getting the Stream Deck. I
was just gonna say that actually when you were like, I don't know how to do OBS. I'm like, you should get a Stream Deck.
See, and I've avoided a lot of it for the reason that because the stream is 1 hour a week. It's not. We don't do a lot of like different scenes and stuff like that. But I would like to incorporate that kind of stuff. I would like to have a little bit more variety in the visuals of what you see. And I've thought about going over to OBS StreamYards or Stream, whatever they call it, because you can have a better visual than just a split screen between Dylan and I. You can go between Dylan being full screen, me being full screen, that kind of stuff. I think that would be kind of fun, and then using a Stream Deck with it. So let me look into that. I do also like doing live streams when products are released, and I think that might actually make the live stream a little more interesting if I did have something where I can kind of flip between, like specs and shit like that. So it's your Friday afternoon. I use mine for MIDI and editing macros too. Yeah, I see. I've never gotten into doing macros. I know Dylan's a big macro freak.
Honestly, I'm not. There are some cases where I have had a stroke of ambition and have said, hey, there's this thing that I need to do frequently. Like I made one macro for Pro Tools where if I want to name the file what I've named the start marker of a spot in a session, makes sense. Just one button, click the marker, press this one button, and it labels it all, bounces it out all in one stroke, which makes life easy. They're fun little, I don't know, side fulfilling projects. I don't need macros to do my job, but they're fun to do and make life a little easier.
Yeah, like there's, especially when you get into repetitive shit, like any kind of like long form editing, macros are necessary. But
for me, I'm more like on my keyboard, I've got like 18 remapped keys on the side, like just of shortcuts that I use frequently, and I'll like flip between this window and this window, like one button instead of reaching across the keyboard to do, control equal sign or something,
Yeah, maybe I'll pick one up and I'll play with it and see. We'll make the live stream better. Beresford says, I was less well off back in 2020, missed out on the original Neat King B. That has to be up there with the ugliest of mics. I would say
poor King B. It just gets so much hate.
So I got the Worker B. I didn't get the original King B. I got the Worker B. It actually sounded decent. Like I really liked the Worker B. I also liked the King B too. I didn't get the King B, but they were god awful, and they put so much money into packaging, into like they had that little like B thing that you could put on your desk too. Like they put so much money into the stupid shit that went along with the mic. They probably could have lowered the price 10-15% if they did.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a paint can threw up.
Yeah.
Like I'm reminding myself what the King Bee looked like, and I'm like, oh my god,
ugly. If Neat B mics were all black, they would look awesome by almost anyone's standards. Yeah, you know what? The original block design, from an aesthetic perspective, between the black and yellow original design, the way it was, and the Worker B2 and the King B2, I take the King B2. But if they were all black, that would have looked sexy, and those would have been really nice mics. Anything MXL, that ain't just looks, man. That's just a shitty mic all around. Sorry, MXL fans. TechMed, I have to leave early today. It's 23:22 over here already. Damn, 11:22. And I have a long ride early tomorrow morning. Thanks and have fun. Cheers, brother. Oh, welcome back to being a member, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, have a great night, brother. Long ride early tomorrow morning. I wonder if it's a bike or if it's a motorcycle. Either way, early ride early in the morning. Be safe, brother. The Beeline cables are super thick and look more like diamondback snakes and bees. I like those cables with the weave, the different colored weaves. Those look pretty nice. They remind me of the old cables of the 80s, though. So, Austrian Audio USB microphones is a bit of an ugly ducking. I haven't seen the Austrian Audio USB mics. What am I doing with my life? I have to look it up now. Oh, yeah, My Creator, or yeah, whatever that is pretty ugly. Not gonna lie. Oh yeah. It's got that old vibe. I do like the retro-esque style to it, I gotta admit. I don't know if it's as ugly as the Aston Apex, though. Aston's never gonna work with me ever again. Yeah. Well, they haven't worked with me prior. They got bought out by somebody. Can't remember who, or they're a division of somebody. I was reading up on them today. We've never worked together before, but I definitely don't think they're sending me anything now. I got a Worker Bee last year. I love it. It works for my uses, but I understand the hate. Oh, I love the Worker Bee. I've got the Worker Bee, and I love the sound of it. The original, actually, I think I gave it to a buddy, my old co-host. I gave it to him so he could do voiceover in his house, and he uses it, and it sounds freaking fantastic. The problem is it looks like garbage on camera. I don't think it looks good whatsoever. But sound-wise, like, I thought it held up against the NT2A, which is a much more expensive microphone. So, yeah, it was a Worker Bee one too. The direct box side of it seemed to sound pretty good. Yeah, everything was. Oh, that's the new one. The Me capsule. I might try it out. Maybe I'll pick it up. It's Austrian Audio, so it's probably expensive as all hell too. So. I can put a little like button. I can hit little like buttons, and that's fun. New chat, man. New chat's fun. So, today, Dylan, you'd be proud of me. I'm getting back on the horse. Past 2-3 months, I haven't really had time to sit down with the guitar. Compounded getting sick, and we did a big rush on podcast episodes and all that. So I finally got to sit down with the guitar, and I'm doing a new style of video for Monday. And it has a musical piece, so I was doing some recording, just the acoustic bass and acoustic guitar. And I got a massive blister on my ring finger. Like, it's about half of the tip of my finger is blister right now. It's
God.
Absolutely freaking painful because I had a lot of sliding. It was just doing this little bluesy bit and I wrote an improvised piece for it where I was doing a lot of sliding on the ring finger on the acoustic guitar. And apparently I haven't played enough acoustic guitar over the past year, especially with any kind of improvisation. So my finger's screwed. However, it's a fun little piece, but it made me realize how much I suck at production, like music production. I'm just not very good at it, man. Like, and this is like, you're kind of my benchmark, right? Like, I think I'm better than a lot of people, but then that's not much better. Like, it's not great. I'm not producing albums is what I'm going to say. I've got to start working with you to try to figure some of the basics of this shit out, man.
Oh man, I'll show you a bunch of stuff. I hide nothing. I hide nothing. Cause to me, what a producer's value is not in like the techniques that they know. There's a lot of value in that, but I think a producer's value is in their problem solving ability. Because in production and also their intuition, right? Because producers, like, I have a sound in my head that I hear and I shoot for that, right? Yeah. That's and that sound, I can't tell somebody what that sound is. Yeah. I can tell you, I can give you the tools to get to the sound that you hear, but I can't make you hear the sound that I hear.
No,
right?
and I think that's too. I can hear it, but I can't get to the sound I want. That's the thing.
So that's the stuff that I would teach you. That is what we would do is I would show you how to take that thing that you hear and get to that. Like, hey, this is what 8K sounds like. So if you hear a snare and you hear too much of that, go for 8K, and like just that ear training too. That's really important.
Well, it's also learning where those little sweet spots are that you can kind of, you know, you can carve out, it's like the mids in a voice, right? Like you know the general area where it's going to be for most voices, so you carve that out and you can just kind of hunt around with it and find that spot. And it's like with the acoustic guitar I have, you made it sound freaking gorgeous on the Hurt cover.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that was through a 58.
Well, I'm using a 58 for this as well. But what I get out of it is super dark sounding and and I want that nice crisp bite.
You want the sparkle. You want the sparkle.
But also it had a bite. There was a bite
Yep.
to it. Was very, very crisp and aggressive. And I'm sure it's a compression that you use to give it that bite.
No, you know what? You know what the secret to that is? That is controlled saturation on the treble, on the high end, like on like 10K plus.
Right.
And that gives it's distortion, but it's just in gentle and on some of that like tape type distortion or tube like triode. And it just burns just that top little bit of the spectrum, just so it gives it that nice little, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna punch. All right, Camille, how's it going, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. I guess we haven't really been really consistent on the live stream, so it's not fair to say. What's the best microphone for people with beards? Z-Top. I usually have to worry about what headphones go well with a beard versus the mic. Yeah, I'm actually considering getting rid of the beard. I'm wondering if I'm too old for a beard. Or at least the ridiculous, like I watched the old videos where it was super long and it's just embarrassing. So like how do you
where you've got like this long straight down kind of like woof, woof.
Yeah. And it's like it doesn't flow, it just sits there like a rock. I don't know. We'll see. Andrew, given you have been unfortunately sick, did this provide an opportunity for what bacteria and fungus lives on my microphone video? That is still a go. So I don't know the logistics of how to test surfaces and how to see like what is dirtier than others. I wouldn't know where to start, how the things I need to get for it, because I'm going to have to do it at home. I'm going to have to grow my own bacteria at home, and I'm willing to do that. I am absolutely, but I have no idea where to start. So if you have some smart sciencey people, go find my email on the YouTube page and email me and tell me exactly what I should get to be able to swab and grow cultures, because that's basically what I've got to do. The fun thing about this is I talked to Rode and I'm getting a second NT2A capsule from them, because I did the NT2A capsule swap from that garbage U67 K67 capsule that sounded like trash. But when I pulled the NT2A capsule out, I noticed it was like spittle, like it had spit all over it. And I'm like, well, that would be interesting to test. But I also want to do a video comparing an old capsule, same capsule versus a new capsule, and what the differential might be. Like, that's a 7-year-old microphone. So what does 7 years do to the sound of a microphone? That's going to be the video. But then I now have a dirty capsule that I can swab. And I'm literally going to spit on it and swab it. That's going to be the test for that. So instead of actually like swabbing a capsule and destroying, because it's going to destroy the capsule as soon as I swab it. Like it's going to be done. Like you can't swab that and walk away with the good sounding mic. Sorry. So this also gives me the opportunity to kind of wreck capsule and still get the results out of it. So is that going to be painful to watch, Dylan?
I think you'll get some interesting content after too. Like, hey, so if this did happen to your mic, what would it sound like?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, like you know, best case scenario, like you know, if your mic just got caked in something gross, you know, would it be useful? Is there any kind of creative anything? Because it would be muffly as hell, I would imagine, or it would have like a weird, like liquid resonance. I don't know.
Okay, Andrew C. Swab and petri dish with agar. Don't forget what creatures live in my factory open microphone ROM road. I don't know what that last sentence means, but that sounds gross. There are a few videos of my keyboard videos for swabbing you can watch. Andrew, I will do that. Can you email me a link? I am going to forget. So just, Andrew, go to, it's Aiden at darkcornerstudios.tech. email me a link to your channel or one of those videos. I promise I'll watch it, and I'll actually build the video up from that. And I kind of want to go because I want to swab the mics at Dylan's studio, because that's going to, like, Dylan uses his mics all day. He uses specific microphones. And what I kind of want to do is I want to swab a mic that you've never used, or you'd only use once in a while, swab your main RA27, swab your SM7B. And the great thing about swabbing the SM7B is you can swab the actual filter, right?
So, oh God, that's gonna be gross.
And like,
that's gonna be so gross.
Did you see the filter on my SM7B? How nasty it is? Like, it's gonna be brutal.
I mean, it looks fine because, again, like, I don't smoke or in here or anything, or I don't have pets walking around. So there's a lot, but there still is, like, even now I can see there's shit on it.
Yeah,
like,
it's the spittle. It's what happens to your spit as it ages. That's just what happens.
And we try to avoid it, right? Because we don't want to pop our peas. So we perform in a way that's not going to happen. So I think I avoid a lot of that. I would be interested to see, because, yeah, you're going to check the RE27 and you're going to check this guy. And that's gonna probably have some telling shit on it, because I got this right. I mean, this has been used before, so I can only imagine what's already on here.
Okay, so I'm just gonna back up and get a couple of these conversations here. Poseidon, my beard hasn't affected my mic technique at all. Yeah, I don't usually have an issue with mic technique. I don't grow the mustache. I just think I need to stop looking like a child. Camille, do any of you have experience with the Blackmagic Design Ultra Studio 4K Mini and broadcasting? I do not. I've wanted one for the longest time. I'm actually about to upgrade my camera probably in the next week or so. And I've kind of been looking at going for something like that because I'll have two cameras. I'll be able to swap, and I'll be able to have a camera overhead. That's the other thing. I need to get an overhead rig for my camera. And yeah, I would love to be able to get into switching and stuff like that, but no, I don't have any experience, Camille. Sorry.
I would just like to throw a shameless plug. The company I work for owns the #1 sports network in Canada, so I could ask someone that I work with.
Look at that,
about
Camille.
This.
Talk to Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan might know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
what
they use.
I don't, but somebody that I could email does.
Do they use Blackmagic Design, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Our main studio in Toronto for Sportsnet, like our VR studio, uses a ton of Blackmagic stuff.
That makes sense. Better short than long. I agree. Gear Junkie, how's it going, buddy? Dan, my beard's got too much white in it now. I want to cut it. See, here's the thing. So I'm blonde. That's been you can tell by my my eyebrows.
Oh yeah, you can see it right in the middle of the beard there.
The problem is as it goes white, you can't really tell, because the other thing about my facial hair is it was always multicolored all the way through. And I used to be dark red in the middle of my beard, but now as I've aged, it now goes more white blonde. And so it doesn't age me as much. I don't look old because it doesn't look pure white, but it's getting there. It is totally getting there. Beresford Productions. Question, what should I buy with my first paycheck? New job pays soon. Dylan?
What do you not have? Like, what do you not have that you need?
Yeah, but
or what do you have that annoys you? Like, so Aiden and I always talk about this concept of creative resistance, right? Which is the idea of stuff that adds resistance to your creative process.
Yes.
So if there's a piece in your studio that you could get rid of. So for me, a good example of that would be my converters, which is why I've been on Aiden for so long to do this this deal with Antelope to get a new converter, because I have my eye on one that would actually make life easier and make things sound better. You got to think about what you need or what you have that's annoying the hell out of you.
I would, I think, who was it? Camille was saying mic levels are not the same, one much louder. I think I was the one that was much louder, so I turned myself down.
That's surprising, because I'm so processed. I would have automatically assumed me would be louder.
No,
actually, there we go.
I'm still turning you down. Yeah, now you're just distorted. Yeah.
Bah!
That limiter is doing some work for you, buddy.
There's a little blue light that goes on when I do it. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's solid blue, man. That's
Yeah,
solid blue.
you are solid blue, and you're like a foot and a half away from the bloody
Oh,
thing.
honest to God, man. Like I this is the problem with some technology, right? Is I like analog things. Why? Because so this thing has decent processing. I work with an engineer that calls it a chainsaw. The
Yeah,
processor, the Wheatstone $2,500 processor I'm going through. Um, but the problem is it's digital. The front of it is a meter. It's 3 meters. It's an in and out and a gain reduction meter. So to change the settings, you have to like log into it over IP. There's like an
yeah,
app, but it's very crude app, and it connects to it over LAN, and it sometimes doesn't work, and I
yeah.
can't remember what the IP address is of it. So
Um,
I can't. I don't mind the settings that it's at now, but like there's some changes I've wanted to make for a while, and ever since I've moved, I just can't connect to the freaking thing.
oh no. Talk
No.
to Glenn. I'll get you Glenn's information.
Well, I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to reset it. There's a reset button, but if I reset it, I lose all. I have to rebuild my profile,
Yeah,
which isn't the end of the world,
but
but
it's a
I don't want to
Friday.
do it.
It's a
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah. So I'm actually facing the same problem. I came around some money uh, about a week ago. Um, it's from a estate from my father, and I was kind of sitting here going, "Well, shit, what do I do with it?" And I'm like, that's why I'm planning on getting a new camera. But I'm like, well, what else? I don't need anything. I literally don't need anything. This microphone, the MKH416, is all I need. I don't need more than this microphone. I have all the microphones in the world. This is my microphone that I choose. I could use some new lights. I might actually get some lights for the background here. But then it's still like, what do you buy? I don't have anything to buy. I don't have anything that I'm like, God, I'd love that. I mean, I could go buy a Paul Reed Smith, I guess, if I really wanted. Wanted one of those for some time. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough because it's also like paying homage to the person that you get the estate money from. And I know that my dad would have loved me to grab a guitar with it. So that's on the cards. We'll see what happens. Um, Lightly used, excellent condition SM7B. What's it worth in US dollars?
Mm,
I would say Sneed, replace the foam. They cost like I think $30 online, and you can sell it for almost new. If it's lightly used and it's got a brand new foam on it, no one would be able to tell between that and a brand new one. And these microphones actually do sell very well on the used market. So I would say you're probably going to be able to get 85% of the cost of it brand new.
so like
Easily.
$400, $500 kind of range.
Yeah. Save the estate money for something special. Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with that too. The Outsider Jess, how's it going? There are color on the RA20 for the longest time made me not want to get one. The RA20 is a special kind of. I was talking to the wife about that. There was this in the 70s. They had that gross yellow, but in the 80s, this between the 60s and the 80s on microphones, they had this like puke greenish gray. And it's the gray that's on the RA20, and I'm like, who looked at that and went, "That's a microphone. That's what we want."
I have one of those in my office, the pukey green gray. Honest to God, I have that on a boom arm and a 57 on a little $15 like little desk stand, or
Yeah.
58 I should say. I always use the 58. I just have the RE20 just like flung around, just like out of my way, because I never use it. I hate the freaking thing.
Yeah, I've got the one here. I love the 20. I absolutely love the RE20, but yeah. Dylan is 6 dB louder. Drop him 40 dB. Perfection.
Perfect.
Dylan's 6 dB louder? Really?
That means more drinking.
All right. Here, dropped you a few dB there. Try that, buddy.
Check.
There you go. All right. So Dylan was louder.
Someone's either got great ear training or has somehow got us going through a meter, which I'm curious
guessing
about.
It's Bangs, so I'm guessing Bangs has us going through a meter. I'm imagining Bangs sitting back like Batman in a cave with all these like.
It's funny. As you were saying that, I had the same image in my
each
head.
audio source has its own screen. I can see it. Like I would imagine Bangs So Bangs, and there absolutely no disrespect from this. This is actually a very, very warm kind of sentiment. You remind me of a buddy of mine that I worked with. His name's Glenn. He's an old engineer. You and him are, I think, kind of like cut from the same cloth. Glenn is one of the most lovely human beings I've ever met in my life, and I love the guy. But you and him, very, very similar. At least I can see what you type. So, yeah. Anyways. I think
Glenn.
Dylan said you need an Apollo something. I don't see.
I know. I would never say somebody would need an Apollo.
I've got my Arturia Audio Fuse Studio, and to this day, it has never been replaced by something ever. I've never had the need to get something better. The Mackie hasn't replaced it. The Rodecaster Pro hasn't replaced it. It's a league into its own. And it's kind of in the same level of the Apollo interfaces without the onboard effects processing. But otherwise it's up there. And it's just, the Apollo has nothing for me. Like it's nice, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely gorgeous. But
no, I personally don't have any value for the Apollo. I mean, the onboard UAD processing is great. I've got some good plugins that I make things sound good with them. As much as, getting the latest and greatest in Slate Digital or UAD plugins is neat. And I use UAD plugins because I work at a few studios that have like UAD enabled boards. But yeah, I mean, like I don't need anything that the Apollo offers. I would rather go for something that's really scalable and routing friendly, like the Antelope, the Orion 32 that you and I were talking about.
Yeah, you've been dropping hints. I'll call him, okay? I'll call him. Jesus. I got sick, okay? Yeah, I'll we'll see if we can make it. Got to make videos out of it, man. It's like a house painted in old
Well,
naval
you and I
ship
talked
paint,
about doing like a converter versus interface kind of comparison shtick, which also gives us an opportunity to look into their interface lineup, right? Because the Orion is just a set of converters.
Yeah.
Which means it's kind of one. It's a very large, high-powered one, but it's one component of what an interface is.
Yeah. You also need the preamps. And I guess that's working on, you'd have your own kind of preamp set up for each channel. Dan says, I have an Apollo hooked up to an Arturia audio fuse and I like the combo. What do you need an Apollo hooked into an audio fuse? That's a lot of money for one link up, man. Like that's $2,000 in interfaces.
One configuration.
Yeah. Andrew says, I'll send you some swab material by email. Go swab yourself. Nice. Yeah, no, that spam filter, that email, the aiden@darkcornerstudios.tech, the spam filter is relatively light on it, so not a lot gets sent to spam. It's also not an email a lot of people use. By the way, I also have to point this out. If you email me asking me what mic to buy, I will not respond to you. I'm not your personal shopper for mics, man. I get these probably one a week of somebody like, I really love this video. Which one should I buy? I don't know.
Which one do you like? Like that would be my answer every time.
It just drives me nuts.
Mic purchase. It's like, again, when you first said the question to me earlier before we started the stream of like, is there such a thing as an ugly mic? Is like, yes, 100% there is, but it's 100% subjective. Like what I think is an ugly mic is not going to be it's like anything else that's aesthetic. Right. Yeah. It's totally a matter of opinion. Speaking of matter of opinion, we talk about Shure a little bit on the stream, talk about the 58, talk about the 7B. What do you, did you get these bad boys?
No, I haven't picked them up yet. I will.
They're nice. I like them.
Yeah. This is my first pair first pair that have broken on me. I had a pair that broke on a friend, but my first pair of Rode headphones. And you can't really see it, but there's just a little crack here in the ear, in the link for the ears. So this is the first one that I have physically broken myself. I lent some to a friend and she had them broken. So, but I've never, because I treat these things like gold. So I'm gonna have to call Rode and see if I can get a new pair of these, because that's annoying. Just recommend the worst MXL every time. The MXL 770 is going to be the microphone for you, boss. I'll just have like a standard reply too. I'll just like throw it on a macro.
The XM 1800S is the perfect mic
Yeah,
for you.
beautiful mic. It sounds great. Audio Fuse 8P has more mic inputs than the two I have in the Apollo. Oh, 8 out. Oh, so you have the Audio Fuse 8, so it's not the studio. The 8. I wanted to get the Audio Fuse 8, but I don't really have need for a lot of inputs more than the Audio Fuse Studio has. So, because I get the 4. The Arturia inputs get to use UA processing that way. That's actually a smart idea. Answer is always a snowball. Have you heard of Blue microphones? I've heard the new Logitech microphones are trash. So maybe I'll start like recommending the Logitech Yeti, that new one they've got. I already have a USB, NT, USB, and Procaster, so I'm good. Thanks for advice for microphones. I missed the email as Google played a video ad over the middle. I'll see how I go. Yeah, no, you know what it is? I think it's one of those things where like if I start responding to emails from people about what to buy and this is my setup, what do you think, or this, that, I will literally be broke of time. I wouldn't have any time to spend with my family. And I, once again, like I was answering them way back in the day. And once you start, people just like, they'll email you like every week. Like, and then you have to be the asshole that's like, all right, buddy, I'm sorry, man. I can't play email tag with you.
People end up developing like a kind of a parasocial relationship. Like they're like, oh, you replied to my email, therefore we are best friends. It's like, no, we are not.
Yeah, and you know, like I've built a couple friendships off this channel, and I'm
100%.
But the problem is I'm also not like open for friendship. Like it's not like hey guys, you want to be besties? I'm not on Bumble, okay? I think this is Andrew, I think wins the how to respond. Get ChatGPT to write a 5,000 word reply for you and reply with a basically says at the end it depends. I like that. Gear Junkie wants to know how bad is the blue snowball mic. I actually have a video up about this blue snowball. It's actually not as bad as you will think it is, but that is that's a relative opinion compared to what it is. So no, it's not going to be the best mic, but when you think about a microphone that doesn't have headphone outs, and it was one of the first really cheap options as a USB microphone, it's actually better than you think. That said, don't buy one. Trust me. More like stick home syndrome. Scored $2 for $25 out of a morbid curiosity. They'll be here. Gear Junkie, dude. I guess, I mean, if you have the money, why not? It's $25 for a science test. My daughter had one when she got it way back when they were first released. My daughter is 19 now. And when she moved in with me, was it about 6 years ago? I was like, what do you have that thing for? And she's like, well, it's my microphone. I'm like, no, it's not. Here, take this microphone. This is now your microphone. Do not use that in my presence, please. And so I'm like, I had this mic sitting around. I'm like, fuck it. Why not? Let's do a video about it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how not shit it was. It's still shit, but it wasn't as shit as shit could be. Price to performance of the Snowball is better than people think. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the price to performance of the Yeti was not there. When the Yeti first released and it was selling for $199, the price to performance of the Yeti was trash. The Snowball, I don't think ever went over $100, and for the most part was usually $49.99. And back in the day when USB mics were like, that was pretty much the only one on the market. Yeah, that was actually pretty decent when you think about it. 2 of them for $25, you blended as a guitar mic. All mids. No kidding. The Yeti was so expensive. Daniel Petrie, how's she going, buddy? Everyone that defends it, I did that video about why does everybody hate the Blue Yeti? And people get on there and literally with their last ounce of blood will fight me to the death about how the Yeti is a good microphone. I don't understand people having such passionate connection to a company or a product. Do you have any
It's-
that
it's-
passionate? Are you that passionate about anything, Dylan?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a passionate person. I speak passionately about things, as everybody here will attest. But I don't know if I'm so passionate to the point where I will just blindly follow, especially like I'm passionate of things in that way, but I don't think I'm passionate for like a company or a product that way,
No.
right? Like if somebody trashes the U87 AI, I'm like, okay, you know,
I
like
don't know.
whatever.
I've known a
Or the
few people that
V13,
have.
or literally somebody could trash everything I've ever bought. Somebody could walk into this room and be like, "You are a fucking idiot. Why would you buy any of this garbage?" And I'd be like, "Does it well for me, man. Like, I don't really care."
Yeah, see, I would say like nowadays the only company that, well, not the only company, but the one company that rings true is a company like Rode that has been crushing it.
I was gonna say, I knew you were gonna say again. I personally don't pledge any allegiance to Rode, but I will admit that they are a good company.
But I don't have
and I generally
I don't have allegiances to them either.
and I have a lot of criticisms of their products, but I don't really have any criticisms for the company itself. Every other company, for the most part, I have criticisms for.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any criticisms for Rode again as a business.
They sent me. I've skewered their products before. I've actually done their first what was that USB Mini, the NT USB Mini. I thought it was But this was well before they released Rode Central where you could hook up multiple ones. So it was just a little USB mic that sounded okay, I guess. As like what the world doesn't need this crap. And I think that was kind of the thing in the video. I was like, it's a USB mic. That's great. I don't have an allegiance. I'm not, and that's the thing. Like there's not a single company where I'm like, no, I'm gonna fight for them, because in the end, corporations don't care about you. They're not sending you Christmas cards. They don't go to bed thinking about you buying their product. You are literally just a customer to them, and like that's it. Nobody, doesn't care you exist.
If you go to them and say, hey, I can, if you go to any business of any type and be like, hey, I can get you to do what you do and make, $5,000 a week, then they'll care about you.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like, hey, I bought a mic from you one time, it's like, okay.
Well, even like if you're a power user and you're a studio, you're just a customer. Your money,
you're a customer.
You're fulfilling their orders. There's no company loves you. There's no love there, man. I just don't.
No.
I don't understand that perspective of. Behringer is another one. Behringer, however you want to say it. That video gets so much hate from people because they're like, no, they're a great company. They're amazing.
No, they're not. They're not.
They help out this struggling artist, and they sound just as good as all the new.
No, they don't.
No, I
have opened up Behringer technology, and I have poked holes in their schematics like you wouldn't believe. That their designs, not all of them. I mean, the X32, I use the X32 every day.
Yeah.
And it's a good piece, and I stand by it. But there's a lot of Midas influence in the X32. Or Midas, however you want to say it.
Midas.
Somebody said it Midas this week, and I was like, okay.
Germans always have to mess with stuff. I like SR375. Bengerger is trash. Yeah. Daniel, the dude on the right, that's Dylan. He's using an RA27. It's an Electro voice microphone. Dan says, it sucks if the company behind your DAW lets you down. Can you imagine having to switch DAWs? It's a huge learning curve to take on. Adobe kind of lost me. Premiere Pro lost me. I feel like they let me down.
The problem is once you're in with the DAW, sometimes you will tolerate them making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Because you're in that ecosystem, right? You've got thousands of presets, patches, a full layer of understanding, gear that's compatible. Yeah. Like, I've been on Pro Tools for over a decade. And has Avid made some stupid decisions? Yeah. Big time. But that said, Pro Tools works very well for me. And I use it every day, and I make a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
like I, made a jingle, within Pro Tools in like a day that made us $400,000. So, like whatever, I'm staying with Pro Tools.
Yeah, no kidding. Bitwig. People have hated Bitwig a while back. I don't know. I've never really used Bitwig. I've known about it, but it's never been on my radar as something to use. I'm enjoying Logic. I've got to say, I've been enjoying playing with Logic.
Yep. Logic's really good.
It's the in-depth nature of it and learning what everything is, because everything in the Apple ecosystem has to be called something different. And it's so frustrating where you're like, what the fuck is, oh, it's just that. Okay, why don't you just call it that?
Because they're Apple.
It's taking some time. Behringer X Touch 1, only thing from that brand so far. I have yet to find a Behringer product that I really enjoy. SR375, also screw them for stealing tech. Amen. It's not necessarily the tech. They call it reverse engineered. And I saw a Twitter post by them last week where they're like, there's nothing wrong with reverse engineering tech and re-releasing it. It's like, guys, you completely not just reverse engineered the tech, but you copied the body design. You copied the
you copied the style. Like I've got a pair of, I think they're a knockoff of Mackeys. And again, as soon as you become a knockoff company, which is Behringer, that's exactly what you're perceived as.
Yeah.
You're done as a company. Like nobody, as far as like, I'm not going to build $1 million studio and put a single Behringer thing in there. Maybe a headphone amp. But even then, like, I don't want the pots to crap out after a month, you know?
But also, if you're going to reverse engineer stuff, at least make them sound as good. You can't call it reverse engineering if you really don't even make it sound close. Like
Dave Rat compared the X32 just audio quality wise and the M32 with exactly the same configuration, and the output was lower audio quality than on the M32.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a good recent Ben Jordan video about Behringer and the death of Moog. Oh, death of Moog. Big IT companies, DoD education prices for schools and students to lock them into the ecosystem. When the pandemic came, Rode gave all the... Yeah, Rode really... I remember I covered that on the morning show I was working. Rode actually worked with schools around the world. And there was a program they had set up for that. That was awesome. That was really cool. I think there was a school here in my area that got on that. Not the same as PC Clones Compact was new. PC Clones was a little different because a lot of those guys were literally in offices across the street from each other when they started the Clone Wars of the 80s. And a lot of them were working for the same company and started as an opposite company in the same building, in the same office, while still working with that company. Even like x86 architecture was like... Everyone was like, yeah, go ahead, use it. We don't care, right? So it's not quite the same. I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of companies out there that are really happy to see their products show up on Behringer's pages. Pretty sure there's not a single company that's like, great, awesome.
Well, at the same though, I feel as though, most companies, the way they see Behringer now is like, hey, those customers that are buying that they wouldn't be our customers anyway. So if anything, like honestly, if I was like a major manufacturer like Sennheiser, right? Yeah. And I saw that Behringer knocked off one of my products, if anything, I would probably actually be flattered. I would be like, hey, you know what? If it's good enough to be copied, that must mean it's pretty good. And again, because they will operate in completely different market segments. Like if Behringer did a knockoff of a U87 AI, it'd probably be like $600. And someone who's in the market for a $600 mic is very different than somebody who's in the market for a $4,400 mic.
Yeah. I just was able to skip ads for y'all. Awesome. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, a little thing came up. A little thing came up.
He says ads were like reaching the end of the stream.
I know, no, but it just came up and it's like ads are going to play for your viewers in 60 seconds and I was able to skip. Nice. I just got to pay attention to that from now on. Perfect. Nice. Tom Buck's past school was a Rode loaded one from memory. Nice. All right. It is 6:02. It's been an hour, guys. I have to get out of here and go be a father to my children and husband to my wife because apparently I'm supposed to. Um, have yourself a great week. We should be back here outside of sickness and all the fun stuff next week. So have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you then.